to another chapter of building website using Python tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 4 in Python. Okay, so we're gonna learn how you can build a multi-page web application in Python. So let's not waste much time and let's get started. Over here on my screen, as you guys can see, now this is basically the window page of my PC. And from here, first, you need to go to your control prompt or command prompt, sorry. So you need to go to your command prompt, and after going on to your command prompt, what you need to do is you need to install Streamlit. Okay. So we already have learned about Streamlit in our last class, how you gonna work with that. So you need to make sure that you install Streamlit. So for that, I'm gonna type pip install Streamlit, and you can just click enter. But if you do want to upgrade it to the latest, let's say you already have Streamlit. So I'll just put double slash and I will just type upgrade. What it will basically do is it will just install the latest version of Streamlit for you. Okay. So once you are done, you guys can just click on enter and basically you guys can just wait. And here it shows that could not find a version that satisfy the requirement. Okay, so no matching distribution found for Streamlit upgrade. So what happened over here is basically that I do have installed the most latest version of Streamlit. Okay, so the one which I already had basically have the most updated version. Okay, so in that case, actually, I'm using the updated version, so that's why they don't show anything yet. But now, once as I do have the latest version of Streamlit, now the next thing what I'm gonna use here is Pandas. Okay, so to install that again, I will just type pip install pandas request. Okay, so I will just type request and I'll click enter, and here you guys can see the requirement already satisfied right over here. Okay, so as you guys can see, requirement already satisfied. Let me just minimize this down. Let me just go here onto my resource file. Let's create up a new folder, and I'm going to name this one as multi underscore page website. Okay, so I'll just open this up right over here. Let's right click and I will just click on show more options. And as you guys can see, it is basically showing me a lot of options. Okay, so let's come here, let's right click, and also here you guys can actually open. Let's put show with more options. Done. I will close it. And from here, let's go to Visual Studio Code. Okay. So I have came here in the Visual Studio Code, as you guys can see, where I'll be doing most of my coding. And from here now, let's go to Open File. Okay. And from Open File, I'll just go to Desktop. Let's go to the same resource file. And from here, I need to make sure that I select that particular folder. Okay. Well, it was open folder, and I will just select this particular folder, and I'll basically open it. Okay. So as you guys can see, this particular uh, folder has been opened over here in my VS Code. And under here, I will just click on new file. And over here, I will just name it accordingly. So let's come here and I will just name this one as Streamlit underscore multi-page dot py. Okay, so I will just come here and I will basically open it. So as you guys can see, now this particular Python file have been created. Okay, so as the Python file is being created over here, now the next thing will be creating a website. Okay, because I have already installed my Streamlit. I have already installed the Pandas request. So now over here, basically I need to import Streamlit first. So now let's import it. So for importing, I will just type import Streamlit as st. Now let's click on enter and over here I will just type st dot title. Then I will just open parenthesis, open double quote, and inside I will just type hello world. Okay, just to show you guys an example. Okay, so I will be naming my particular website as hello world. So control S to save it. Okay, so as I do have saved it already, what I'm gonna do over here is I'm just going to go into my command prompt. Okay, and in my command prompt, what I'm gonna do is I am going to type run Streamlit and I'm going to name the Streamlit page. So it was named as Streamlit underscore multipage.py. So multipage.py. And if I just click on enter, you guys can see that run is not recognized as an internal or external command. So instead of run also, what I can do is I can just tell that Streamlit, or I will just come here and I will just type Streamlit and run and the name of that page. Okay, so I will just come here. Let's copy this. Control C, Control V. Let's go run Streamlit. Or yeah, before that, we need to make sure that we guys are in the same directory. Okay, so what do I mean by same directory right over here? So first, what we need to do is let's come here, let's close this down, Control S to save it. Now let's go to desktop. Okay, let's go to this resource file, this multi-page website. Let's view with a large icon. And from here, now let's click on show more options. And now I will just type open in terminal. Okay, so over here now, as you guys can see, now users, then OneDrive, desktop, building, six website using Python resource file and multi-page website. Okay, and over here, I will just type now run Streamlit underscore multi page.py. And if you click on enter, well, most probably it will just give you guys, but here it is showing me that the term run is not recognized. Okay, so let's see what is wrong over here. Is it my code or is it the function which I have run over here? Or maybe the keyword is Streamlit run. Then I need to make sure that I put on the name. So Streamlit run, Streamlit multi-page PY. Control V, Streamlit multi-page PY. Now let's click on enter and let's see what's the outcome right over here. Because in coding, basically, well, if you do have a simple mistake, well, it can be the simplest mistake of all, but it will show you guys an error. But over here now, as you guys can see, it took me a while, but here they did give me the local URL and also the network URL. Okay, so over here now, let's go back. And here, if you just go into the browser, this is basically my local website which I have created. So over here, as you guys can see now, this is the text which I have. Okay, so I will just close this down or let's minimize it for now. And what I'm going to do right now is I am going to create out a new folder. Okay, so let's come here and let's create a new folder. Otherwise, so let's create this folder and I'm going to name this particular folder as pages. Okay. So I do have these pages and under pages, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some files. Okay. So the first file is I'm going to name this one as about underscore us dot py. Okay. And the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new file and I am going to name this one as sales.py. And the third file I am going to create over here is health.py. Okay. So mostly these are the pages that I am going to use right over here. Okay. So you guys can come here and as you guys can check that I do have all these pages opened right over here. And now what I will do is I will just go to the Streamlit underscore multipage dot py and I am going to just delete this one which I had created. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to write out the page setup. Okay. So the first thing, let me just write this down as a comment. Okay. So I will just set the page setup. Let's click on enter. So what you're going to do is I will just type about or I will just type about underscore page is equal to st dot page. And now let's open parenthesis, let's click on enter. And now let's create some pages or let's give out how my page should look like. So I'll just type page equals to double quote over here. And whatever you guys will see right over here inside the page is going to be in the pages. Okay. So the name of the folder is pages as you guys can see. And here I will just type pages slash about underscore us dot py and then I will just put on a comma. Let's click on enter. And now the title of the page is going to be about us. And now I will just put on another comma and let's click on enter. And over here now you can also add some icons. Okay. So in case of icons, what you guys can do is if you directly want to put any kind of emojis, so if you just click on your Windows key and the full stop key, you will have a lot of icons option. But the same thing or this particular icon, if you want to get from Google Fonts, you guys can also do that as well. Okay. So basically for that, if you do want to do it from the Google Fonts, what you need to do is you need to go into your browser and you can just type Google Fonts, and here, the first website which appears, go inside that. And from here, now go to the left side, go to the icons option. And here you guys can see there are a lot of icons. Let's say from here, now if you do want to search, or let's say about, or go with about us, or home. And you guys can see here, I do have a lot of emoji. Okay. Or if I just type us, here you guys can see that there is a lot of these emojis right over here. Let's say if I do want to take out this person emoji over there in my page, what I'm going to do is, as you guys can see, the name is person. So I will just go here in my VS Code, and from here now, as I have already opened up the double quote, and I will just put out the colon, and after that I will just type material, then I will just type person, and again to close this thing down, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to close this down with a colon as well. Okay. So once this is done, I will just put a comma. Let's click on enter and let's put default equal to true. Okay. So the first about page is basically done. Let's click on enter. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to create the other page. Okay. So the same way I'm going to do so, and I'm going to name this one as project underscore one, and I will just come here, or let's go with project underscore one equal to st dot page. Let's open parenthesis. Let's click on enter, and I will just put out the page information. Okay, so if you just want me to uh, come here, let's copy this one, this three line, control C and control V over here. And what I'm gonna do is the same thing which I have. Let's come here. Let's click on enter. Let's come down and control C to copy and control V to paste it. Okay, so I do have pasted it right over here as well. But all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to change the information. Okay, so pages was fine, but here I will have information about the cell. Okay, so this is going to be my second page. So let's go with cell, and the title is going to be our cell, and over here this is going to be the help page, which is help.py. And in the title, I will just type help center. Okay. And under this, okay, so for sale on, let's come here, let's search for some emojis. Okay, so I can just search for an emoji, which is a chart. Okay, let's search for chart. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are a lot of charts right over here, and you guys can just find any of these emojis which you can just upload. Let me just go with the bar chart over here. Okay, so I will just type bar chart. So let's come here and I am going to type bar underscore chart. And also I'm just going to change it. Let's see what are the emojis I have for help. Let's click enter and here you guys can see I have this help sign. So, or I will just go with the support. Okay. So I will just type support over here. So yeah, basically this is done. So you guys already know what I do have written. So for pages, this is basically the function. I have mentioned it right over here. I have imported Streamlit as ST. So here you guys can see. So these are three multiple pages of my website. So if I just click on Control S, okay, the title is going to be about us. The icon is going to be from the Google font, which is the person. Here I do have the bar chart. Here I do have the support icon. Control S to save it. Now let's come right over here and you guys can see that here I do have a small problem. Okay, so here it shows that the code module users or desktop using resources about page equals to st dot page. Okay, so I will just come here and let's go. So as over here, it's basically showing me this kind of error. Uh, Instead, I will show you guys why it is showing me those errors. Well, as over here, you guys can clearly see that I do have added all the information and it's right as well. Well, here I do have the directory like in pages about us dot py. Okay, I do have provided the title as well. Okay, but what's wrong basically over here is I didn't do the navigation setup. Okay, so let's put out slash and let's create a command navigation setup. And over here now, I will just type pg is equal to st dot navigation. Okay, so I will just the st dot navigation. And what I'm going to do is I am going to open the parenthesis. Okay, so under parenthesis, I will just type pages equal to, and after typing the equal to sign, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open up the square bracket. Okay, and under square bracket, I am going to name all of these three pages. Okay, so let's come here and I am going to type about page project 1 and project 2. So about page, not this one basically over here, the names. Okay, so as you guys can see, about page, project one and project two. So let's go with project one, comma, project two. Okay, so over here also I do have actually did the navigation setup, but now I need to make sure that I will add the running navigation as well. So I will just type pg dot run, open and close parenthesis. So control plus S to save this whole thing out, as you guys can see. And once I've saved this, just to see how it will basically work, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to import Streamlit as st, control S. Let's go to about us, control V, uh, or Y, this one. Or let's just manually type import Streamlit as st. Now let's come down, and over here I am going to type st dot title, double quote, and I'm just going to type about us. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to copy this whole thing, control S, control and control V over here, and I'm just going to change the content inside it. Okay, so if you do want to move it on a side, or let's say I will just move it onto the center. Okay, so about us is done, sales is done, help.py, again control V, and over here I will just type talk, or let's go with ask the chat bot. Let's go to cell, and in cell I'm going to type our cell. So once this is done, now control S to save it, and control S to save this one as well, and over here control S to save as well. So now let's go to the multi-page, and I'll just click on control S. Let's go to my browser, and over here I will just reload this, and again it's showing me that I do have a problem right over here. So here it basically shows me that users programs Python 312 lib type packages runtime script timer script underscore runner dot py. And yeah, before going to the web or the browser, what I can also do is basically I can go to my terminal, create up a new terminal right over here, and let's generate the URL. So I will just type Streamlit run, and I will just write the whole name of this Python file, which is Streamlit underscore multi page dot py. And if I just click on enter, you guys can see I will have a web page quite like this. Okay, so over here you guys can already see that these three pages are separated. So under About Us, I do have this About Us title. Under Cells, you guys can see the title is Our Cells. And in Help Centers, the title which is shown is Ask the Chatbot. Okay, so you have seen this, but now let me just give you guys how it basically works. So under the Streamlit underscore multi-page Python file, here these are three separate files. Okay, and under these three separate files, I do have these three files as well. Okay, so over here you guys can see for the About Us, they do have About Us over here in the title. That's why it shows you in the browser as well. And in the Streamlit.py, multipage.py, here you guys can see the About page is basically the default page. Okay, so the About page is basically the default page. Okay, make sure that you set whichever page you want the other people to see first, make sure to put that as the default file. Otherwise, if you want your cell one to be the default page, you guys can also do that. So yeah, I hope till this much it was clear about creating your website. Now let's try to understand the other part of creating this. So now over here, like instead of basically having this page, okay, so basically having this page right over here, if you want to actually divide those in section like this particular browser, okay, so let's come over here, this particular page. Instead of having it quite like this, what you can also do is you can have it in sections. Okay. So how you're going to do that? So for that, what I'm gonna do over here is I will just make this one as a comment. Okay. And after making this one as comment, now let's come down over here. And I'm just going to type out the same thing, which is PG equal to st dot navigation. And now let's open parenthesis. Let's click on enter. And I need to make a dictionary. Okay. So let's come here. And now let's create a dictionary. So first one, I will just name as information. And in the information section, I need to make sure that what all I do want to put. Okay. So let's come here, information. And inside information, what I want to do is I want to put the about page. Okay. So let's type about underscore page. Okay. And after writing this one, let's put a comma. Let's click on enter. And now I am going to create my second dictionary. And I'm going to name this particular heading as about or company info and support. So this is the second dictionary. Now let's give out a colon. And what I can do is let's open out the square bracket. Let's type project underscore one, comma, project underscore two. And once this is done, I will just put out comma. So Control S to save it. Now let's check where the problem is. Let's click right over here. Control S. And what I can do is I can just go to this browser and I can just execute this. But over here, you guys can see here it shows me some error. Okay, so here it shows that this is a invalid syntax. And now to solve this error, I need to check what I did wrong. Okay, so over here now, you need to understand that before writing any kind of dictionary, you need to enclose that with curly braces. Okay, so let's come over here. Let's click on enter. And now over here back again, I will put on the curly braces. So Control S to save it right now. And now I am going to come right over here. Now let's load this thing. But here again, it shows me that there is a problem. So now let's close this whole thing down. Control S to save it. And what I can do is I can just run this whole page all together. So for that now, so now over here, let's click on Control S. Okay, so let me just check those things down back again. And let's Control S to save it. Okay, so Control S over here, and Control S over here, back again. And now let's go to this local URL and let's click on follow link. And now over here, you guys can basically see that my about us is now under the information category, and under my company info and support category, I do have my sales and I do have my help center. Okay. So here also you guys can just drop this down menu. You can open up this menu and you can add as many options as possible. Okay. So now we are going to go into this about us page, and now I'm going to add more information inside my website. Okay. So to do that, what I'm gonna do right over here is I am going to come here, okay, into my Streamlit multi-page, and I will be adding on more information over here. Like if you want to import images, you guys can actually import different kind of images. But for that, before only make sure to choose what kind of images are you guys looking to import over here. Okay, so for that, now if you want to share that images or share those same things right over here, now let's come here. Now let's click on enter. And over here, now what I'm gonna do is I will just create a comment and I will just name this one share on all pages. Okay, so I'll just type share on all pages, and I'm just going to go with st dot logo and open parenthesis. And for that, now what I'm gonna do is I will just come here into my website. Okay, let's go to multi-page website, and the same way I can go to just VS Code. And under this place, let's say right over here, I am going to create up a new folder and I am going to name this one as my asset. Okay, so I'm just going to name this one as my asset. And inside here, I can actually put on a different kind of file. If you want me to open up a new file, I can come here and I can basically open up some new file here as well. Okay, so now let's download some images. Okay, so if you want me to download some logos, for that, what I can do is I can just come here in my Bing only. Okay, so let me just delete one from here and I will just type free logos download. So if you were working on a website, you will already have those logos, but as I'm just showing you guys of this particular example, so for that, I do basically need this thing. Well, as you guys can see, there are different options from here. Let me just search for free ones. Um, let's see. And this one kind of looks good. And what I can do is I can just download this. I will just go with free download. Let's close this up. Let's close this down as well. Let's minimize this. And from here, let's go to desktop. Let's go to download. And I will just extract this whole file. Let's click on extract. And I do have this large icon over here. And from here, I will just check 5, 6, or I will just type the logo or the underscore logo. And I'll just delete this one. Again, I will try to rename it, which is the logo. And I'm going to cut this one and let's go to the desktop. Let's go to my resource file. And from here, I'm going to put this particular logo inside here. Okay, inside this asset file. Okay, so the name of this particular file is my asset. Okay, ASSESSTS. Okay, so let's come here. Let's go to my VS Code. And over here, now I am going to give them the directory. Okay, so under directory, what I'm gonna do is let's open the double quote and I'm just going to type my ASSESSTS, and after that, let's give out a slash my asset, and I will just name this one the underscore logo dot what kind of file was that? Let's come here. Let's minimize this stuff. Let's go to this website, this multi-page website, and this is a JPG file. So I will just go with uh, dot JPG. Okay. So as this is done, I will just come here and over here I will again add st dot sidebar. Okay. So on the sidebar dot, this is going to be a text which I want to add. And let's open the parenthesis and after that the double quote and I will just type made by Samuel, and I will just add a emoji. So Windows key and the full stop key, and you will have a lot of these emojis right over here. So you can just choose any emojis as you like. You guys can see right over here. And let me just add this one and this kind of work. Control S to save it. And now if I just go to my browser and if I just come here, and as you guys can see over here, I basically do have the logo or the image. And over here, whichever page I go, whether I go to About Us page, whether I go to the sales page, whether I go to the help center, here on my sidebar, you guys can see that I do have this particular set of text basically present. Okay, so I hope till this much was clear. But now we are basically going to go on depth of how you can create this. Okay. So for that, what we are going to do over here is individually we are going to work on each and every section. Okay. So individually we are going to work in each and individual page. So here I do have showed you that if you make any changes in the main page, how it will change. But now I will just go to this about us page, and from here now we are going to work. Okay, so first thing what will happen over here is I'm just going to delete this title first of all, and now I am going to create some columns. Okay, so let me just name this one as column 1, and I will just make this one as column 2 equals to st dot columns. Okay, so you guys can see st dot columns. And now let's open parentheses and I will just put 2 over here. And I can also select what is going to be the gap between letters. So I want to give them small gaps. Now I will just put on comma, and I do want them to have the vertical alignment. Okay, so vertical alignment, and I want them to set it over here in the exact center. Okay, so that is how it basically works, and you guys can already see that I can just give small, big in gaps as well. Okay, so this is how it actually works. So now individually, I am going to mention the column 1 and the column 2. Okay. So let's come right over here and let's try to do, or let's say, let's try to put out all the information right over here. Okay. So I will just mention with call 1, and I'll just give out a colon st dot image. Okay, so I also want to import an image over here. So let's open parentheses. And now I can also give them the location of where that particular image is basically located. Okay, so I will just put dot slash. And again, what I can do is I can just download one image. So let's come here and I will just go to Freepik and let's go with profile picture. And you guys can see that I do have a lot of these profile pictures. And let me just go on with the free version. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have all these free images. So let me just take this one from here and let me just try to download it. Okay, so let's click on download. Let's close this thing up. And yeah, the download is basically done. Let's go to the file. Let's go to downloads. And from here, I'm going to rename this as young.jpg. Let's select this one. Let's cut. Let's go to desktop. Let's go to the resource file. And while working on your website, make sure to keep your workspace clean. Okay, don't mess it up or don't overcrowd your space. As you guys can see, each and every file over here is in their own spaces. Okay, so my asset and the name is young.jpg. Okay, so I will come here in the VS Code, and over here now I will just type my asset slash young dot jpg. And also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and let's put on a single quote over here, a single double quote and a double quote over here. Let's put out a comma, and I'm going to put on the width as 220. Okay, so let me just, you can put any size, okay, of the image. And now in column 2, okay, so let's come here, and now I will just type with call 2. I'm going to add up a title which is going to be st title. Let's open, and after that I will just type Samuel Robert, and let's put out a comma, anchor equal to false, and after that I am going to type st dot right. Let's open, and I'm going to give him a position of senior executive executive manager. A well defined man and very hard working guy, and also an asset asset to the company. Okay, so I'm just going to type this thing out right over here. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come here and let's click on Control S to save it. Now let's go here, and if I just run this here, you guys can see this is how it will actually look. Okay, So over here it shows Samuel Roberts, Senior Executive Manager, a well-defined man and very hardworking guy, and also an asset to the company. Okay. So over here I do have this about us information right over here. So here, as this is done, well, I do have created this information, and also if you do want to put more information, you guys can basically put out more information over in the About Us page, in the sales option, in the help center option. Okay, you guys can do that. But if I try to do that right now, it's gonna take a lot of time. Okay. So instead, what I'm going to do now is let me just show you guys another thing and we will just end this particular tutorial over here. So now I want to add a button right over here. Okay. So if you do want to add a button, and let me show you where I do want to exactly add it. Let's say I want to add our button right over here. Like if you do want to contact. Okay. So for that, let's come here. And if I want to add a contact button, let's say up, it will just come in a pop-up way. Like it will pop out and it will ask you different kind of information. So in that case, what I can do is I will use the if statement. Okay. So I will just use the if statement. So I'll just type if st dot button and then I will open parenthesis and after that I will open the double quote as well. Okay. And if I want to put out any kind of emojis, Windows plus full stop, and I will just type mail. Okay. So as you guys can see, I do have this different kind of emojis right over here. And from here, basically, let's choose this one. Let me just give it out a space. And now I will just put contact us. Okay. So I'll just put contact us right over here. And after the if statement, I need to make sure that I do put out the colon. And let's click on enter right now. And now you need to make sure that you put out the contact slash form, open and close parenthesis. So I do have given a function right over here. I do have mentioned this particular function. So over here, as I will be creating up a button, anyone who clicks on the contact us button, it will lead them to a particular function. So anyone clicks the contact us function, they will go to or this particular button, it will lead them to contact form. So for that, now let's come right over here on top. Now let's click on enter and I will just add a simple function. Okay. So let's come here and to define a function, I will just type def contact underscore form, open and close parenthesis, colon. Let's click on enter st dot text underscore input. Okay. So it will mean that they will be able to input their particular data over here. Okay. And what is the question that I'm going to ask in that menu? So let's open parenthesis. Let's open double quote and I will just type name. Okay. So I do want to ask them the name over here. So as this is going to come in a pop-up way. Okay. So for that now I will just type at st dot experimental dialog. Okay, as you guys can see, I do have this particular function, experimental dialog. And over here, let's open parentheses. Now let's open the double quote. Over here, I will mention contact us. Okay, so once you have actually mentioned this right over here, you guys can click on Control S. And now let's go to this particular website. Let's just run it. And over here, you guys can see now, if I just click over here, you guys can see that I do have this name button. Okay. So here you guys can see, please replace st.experimental dialog with st.dialog because it will be removed. Okay. So I will just type st dialog over here. Okay. So it keeps on updating. Okay. So st control s. Now let's come back over here. Let's refresh this. And now if you just click on the contact us button, it will lead you right over here. So you can add more questions. Okay. So if they click on submit, all these things are over here as well. But I hope this class was clear on how you guys will be able to create a website using Python. So yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're going to learn more about creating websites, working with those, and basically creating some more interactive web libraries and using Python. So take care, everyone. See you all in the next chapter.